Hey everybody, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley, and this is a story time. And as promised, this is the story of Niall's birth, but I'm going to back it up and talk about my wild pregnancy, the free birth, and I'm going to share how I obtained government documents to record his birth. So, I've never shared this story like this. I've shared a very brief version, an opinion piece under my Mama Chronicle project on Instagram, but I've never done this. So, the wild pregnancy. So I got pregnant in December, and I had state insurance in Los Angeles. Well, I found out in December. I was already like 8 weeks pregnant. Anyway, so when I found out, I signed up for routine prenatal care. I was doing, because I had state insurance, they had this program through the clinic that you could do these classes and get gifts, every time. So we were doing that. I learned a lot. It was great. And I don't think I finished a class. I was seeing a physician for prenatal care. I had one ultrasound, but I stopped my prenatal care and the classes at 13 weeks. So I only went for 4 weeks, because I found out at 8 weeks and then I stopped at 13. So what happened was, one of the very first visits I had, the doctor told me that we were gonna have to do one of the first fucking visits, right? I'm not even 20 weeks. The doctor said that they were gonna have to induce me, they said that they were gonna have to do a biopsy in July, and his due date was, this is a funny story, his due date was my baby daddy's ex-girlfriend's birthday. So that's not his birthday. I made sure he was not born on that day, but we'll get there. So I stopped going when she said that, and they were also just getting way too much information that had nothing to do with my current pregnancy. A lot of stuff about my previous sexual history that had nothing to do with being pregnant. So when they told me that, no, Niall, when they told me, no, honey, when they told me that, this is gonna be chaotic, I'm sorry. When they told me that they were gonna do the biopsy, I said, absolutely not. I've had a biopsy before. It was the most painful and one of the most traumatic medical procedures I've ever had. I'm you're absolutely not doing that to me while I'm pregnant, and I know that would induce labor early, and then I would have to have a C-section. And I didn't tell them all that. I just kind of went along with it in the appointment, and then I said, no, I'm not going back. And the reason I stopped doing the classes was because I wasn't seeing a physician, and also that I don't think was set in stone. And I went to class one time and there was no parking spot. I'm I'm not doing this. So I left and I never went back. So all of that. So then I had a wild pregnancy from 13 weeks on. Everything was cool. I did a fuck ton of spiritual work. No, honey, no, it's almost time to go in. We're not getting your car out right now. I did a lot of spiritual work and generational work during my pregnancy, especially because I was in an interracial relationship. Also, my marriage, pregnancy kind of killed that. I had several miscarriages. I thought we were trying to get pregnant, but I was trying to get pregnant. And yeah, so when I did get pregnant, it was pretty much over from that point. And I did spend a lot of my pregnancy trying to save it. The marriage, not the child, of course. The child was just fine, but trying to save my marriage. Really going through what that looks like. Oh my God, the reality of becoming a single mother, all of that. So anyway, I did a lot of work, emotional work, in my pregnancy, and you know, even though things weren't working, we were still living together and like hadn't broken up at that point. And so I still had the privilege of being home and doing my own thing during my pregnancy. At 5 months, I bought a one-way ticket. Like, things had gotten really bad. I bought a one-way ticket to Green Bay, and I was like, I need to go home. I need to go home. So, bought a one-way ticket. I ended up staying in Green Bay a couple weeks. And when I came back, the marriage situation was very bad. At that point, it was pretty much over. So anyway, I spent my pregnancy figuring that out. I also found a group called the Free Birth Society once I quit doing the medical care, and I joined that group. So in an unrelated and yet incredibly relevant topic, we can do a story time about surviving a cult, okay? Free Birth Society got me the information I needed to get my son here safely. I did a very big course. I paid for the birth course and learned everything I needed to know, how to handle emergencies, how to handle just regular birth. I listened to a ton of stories of women free birthing, and had that community, which at that point I didn't know was a cult. So, oh God. So yeah, pregnancy was fine. Everything was cool. And then getting to the birth, so Niall's due date, like I said, was my baby daddy's ex-girlfriend's birthday, which was August 11th. And when I was given that due date, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, this is a woman that was very present throughout our marriage. Like, I was just like, abso-fucking-lutely not. I am not having my child on this day. And I didn't. I popped him out 4 days before that. He was born on August 7th. And I'd like to thank my determination on that one, because I was like, no, you are not tainting this. Anyway, so I lost my mucus plug on Monday. Now, I was born on a Wednesday, and I lost my mucus plug on Monday, like around 10 or 11. That was fucking disgusting, but I was so stoked, right? So the mucus plug is like what holds the waters and everything in during pregnancy. So usually that releases before birth. After I lost my mucus plug, I started having contractions. I was so excited. I was like, yes, yes, yes. So that was Monday the 5th. And then my contractions started coming more regularly on Monday night and into Tuesday. And then Tuesday is kind of a blur because I spent all day in labor. I do not remember. I know I was alone. I know, but I wasn't in the hot tub yet. I just was doing lots of yoga, pacing, moving my body. And I need to also preface this, if you're not on my Instagram, that I set up my entire house as a birthing cave. I did birth art. I made collages. I painted a surfboard that said ride the wave. I had affirmations. I had Christmas lights. We had the hot tub in the main room. I had a whole altar table set up. I had put our ancestors around. It was divine, okay? I set up this entire house to be a birthing cave, exactly how I wanted the atmosphere, environment to be to give birth, to the best of my knowledge, right? I've never done it before, and I will never do it again. Pregnancy sucks. So yeah, backing up to pregnancy, it was horrible. Pregnancy is so fucking horrible. So hard to grow a human. I was sick every single day of the pregnancy, every day, every fucking day. I was sick to my stomach, puking, and it's just so anxiety ridden. Oh my God, is everything okay? Especially since I didn't have the medical piece, but I know that medical often makes problems that don't exist anyway. And that was my choice for that reason. Like I said, like they wanted to create a problem for birth. Now, did they go inside? God damn it. So anyway, I'm gonna lock these two in here and then I'm gonna move to the bedroom. All right, we're all done. Woodstock, you need to get back outside, honey. Niall, you're all done. No, you're all done. Come on, guys. Woodstock! Anyway, so come on, you need to get your booty back outside. You know you're not coming in here yet. Come on. Niall, you need to pick one, in or out. We're going in a few minutes. The sun is going down. Come on, Woodstock. Okay. The next time you go inside is the time we stay inside. Thank you. That was too big of a hit. Anyway. Oh God, I hope I don't have to do this in 2 parts. These two are crazy. So, mucus plug contractions for like the whole next day, but they weren't like intensifying. It was just pretty steady. And then nothing unbearable. And then went to bed Tuesday. I tried to get as much rest as possible on Tuesday, which is probably why it's a blur. I probably did, because I knew that birthing could take days, you know, and I didn't want to have an intervention at all. So Tuesday night we went to bed, and I woke up about, well, I think I was up all night, but I remember I was up all night. I do remember. Okay. I had taken over the bedroom. So Tuesday night was like back and forth from the bedroom to the kitchen. I had a crock pot with washcloths to put on my womb to help with contractions. And then, like I said, I had like one of those blow up hot tubs in the family room. And I had tied scarves to the side handles for like leverage. And so I went back and forth to the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom mostly. But then at like 4 a.m., I woke baby daddy up and I said, it's time. It's time. Like, I need some support here. Things were really intensifying. Every time I tried to lay down, I would get another contraction. And it was like, I needed support. I couldn't do it by myself at that point. So he woke up and he started putting hot water into the hot tub from the bathtub. And he filled it up with like 5-gallon buckets. Thank you. And I did a few hours in the hot tub. I got in the hot tub and he was like walking around the house, like it's summer in Los Angeles. So he was walking around the house closing the windows because I was so loud. And I was roaring. Like it was the most primal roar I've ever, I mean, it's like a birth roar. It doesn't exist unless you're in that space. And it was, so like, I remember being in the hot tub and like trying to, I don't know, it's so hard to explain because there's like a space that I was in, like energetically, and I would like close my eyes and like just be there. But then a contraction would come or a wave would come and I would have to like snap out of it. And so they say that like you go get your child from spirit realm during birth. And it was very much like that. Like that's the only, I mean, a lot of people say that, and that's the only thing that I can really relate it to. Like it's a space that I would just go to and then a contraction would bring me back, you know, and he would be making his way down. It's very fucking, natural childbirth is fucking amazing. And so we did a free birth or an unassisted birth, which means we didn't have a doula. We didn't have, well, Lucy doesn't have a doula, but we didn't have a doula or midwife, no medical people. I had made like those tri-metal carts. Like I had 2 of those with everything. Like I had gotten supplies, essential oils, umbilical cord clips, candles to like burn the umbilical cord, a bowl to collect the placenta. I had like some towels because birth is very messy, especially water. So anyway, those things were right by the hot tub, but they were in like those metal rolly carts so that we could have them where we needed them. So anyway, Woodstock, come on, man. Okay. It's time to go inside. Yeah, it is. It's dark. It's time to go inside. You two just drop it, man. Come on. They just do this all day. All day. Anyway. So, around, like, I was in the hot tub for hours going through that stuff where I would, like, disappear, but then I'd come back with a contraction. Baby daddy was running around with like a chicken with his head cut off, closing windows. You know, he was a good man for letting me do this, honestly. Lots of men in medical intervention, and it can be very violent and awful. So, I'll give him that. Anyway, so yeah, from about like 5 a.m. to about 8 a.m., I was in the hot tub, but the water got cold in that time, obviously. He was refilling here and there, you know, with more hot water. Come inside, Niall! And then, I'm just gonna put you on the microwave. And then, I felt like I had to poop, which is also very common in natural childbirth, because everything is like pushing down. So, you know, I learned a lot about that in the class that I took, from the cult. And so baby daddy helped me out, and, we got onto the toilet, and then within seconds, they call it the dilation station. Within seconds of sitting on the toilet, he was there. He was crowning. Niall was crowning, and like baby daddy was standing in front of me, and like I'm on the toilet, and I was like grabbing his fucking leg, and I'm like, ah, you know, getting through these contractions as his head was starting to crown. So I was like, baby daddy was like, you can't have him on the toilet. You can't have the baby on the toilet. Starts freaking out. I'm like, well, get the bath ready. So I got in the shower. The bath water was a couple inches deep, and the shower was going over me. And I tried a few positions. I tried like squatting, you know, I was just moving. Like, birth is very like, you move as you feel it, you know? And then I got on, I'm not going to show you this, but I got on all fours, okay, right? And then I pulled like one leg up. So I was like kind of squatting, like one leg up in the bath, and he came out. Niall came out. There is a thing called the Ring of Fire, which is when they're crowning and the head actually comes out, like through the vagina. It is so fucking intense, and it burns like no other fucking burn, as their head is like coming through the vagina. So he came out. I was gonna let baby daddy catch him, but I caught him. I was like this. I don't know if you can see me. I was like this, but like down, you know, in the bath. So I caught him like this, and we didn't know if he was a boy or a girl. Man, I gotta get him in here. And, okay, baby, come on, it's time to come in. So we saw a penis, and I said, it's Niall. I had a name for a girl and a name for a boy. And then we moved to the front room. Like, we had where the hot tub was, there's a futon. So we moved in there. Me and Niall took our first selfie. The placenta was still in. And then we like told folks that, like my mom and a couple other folks, that he had come and he had made it. And then we moved into the bedroom because I'm like, I want to rest. And remember, I hated being pregnant. Like, it was the worst thing for me. So we moved into the bedroom. And then, right when I sat on the bed, I felt more contractions coming. And honestly, because we didn't have more ultrasounds, I was like, and the amount of people that told me like, oh, you look like you're having twins. Well, I was pregnant, you know, I didn't know if I was. So I felt these contractions and I was like, oh my fucking God, there's another one. But no, it was just the placenta. So I went onto the toilet and baby daddy held the baby, or maybe I think he was holding Niall. And then I kind of tugged the placenta out a little bit and I held a bowl and caught it in the bowl and not let it go in the toilet. And then, yeah, he was born. We did not do a lotus birth, which is if you keep the placenta attached to the child until it falls off naturally. And you like cover it with herbs and stuff. We did not do a lotus birth, but we did like keep the umbilical cord attached. So the placenta was like in a bowl next to me. And I made sure to get my first latch. Breastfeeding is a whole different story. That shit sucked, like in the beginning. But anyway, baby, come on. It's time to come in. It's too dark for you out here. Okay, it's time to come in. Thank you. So then once the umbilical cord went white, like it comes out blue, like when it's attached and like there's blood in it. And then once it turned white, we burned it with beeswax candles. It's very important to use beeswax candles, or like natural candles with no scents or anything in them. So I bought those special and they were in like the cart. And baby daddy did most of the burning while I was holding the babe. Sorry, it's dark. And then on his 1 month birthday, I guess we're just chilling outside. Oh no, I just fucked that up. On his 1 month birthday, I was gonna plug in lights, but they fell. We took his placenta to the ocean. It's time to go inside, buddy. Here, I can stand in front of this window so I have good light. Oh, it's not that good. Anyway, we took his placenta to the ocean. I did like a really big ceremony. I made some placenta prints with paint, but it was like in the freezer for that month. And let me tell you, working with placenta is fucking powerful. Like, it is such an intense organ. I did not do any encapsulating. I did not eat any of my placenta. I decided to give it to the ocean. And so what I did was I put it in like these cloth bags and I put rocks in it with it. So the placenta had its own cloth bag, and then I put like one of those cloth bags, I don't know. And then I put that cloth bag into another one with rocks. And then we had a ceremony. We actually threw his placenta in the ocean where I received his third name. So Niall's name is Niall Valley Mapintuzi Sasa Hall. And Mapintuzi Sasa means revolution now in Swahili, which is the main trading language in Africa. And he's named Nile Valley after ancient Egypt. And yeah, so where I like was received that third name is where we took the placenta and threw it in. It's actually, I think, by Marina Del Rey somewhere. Anyway, and then I did not go and get his birth certificate until, come on guys, it's time to come in now. Yeah, it's time to come in. Come in. I will have to bribe him with candy. Anyway, so the birth documentation, I got his birth certificate in Los Angeles in February of 2020. So that was about 6 months. He was 6 months old. And I had to, like, because I was with other mommies who were free birthing, we shared stories of how to obtain that stuff. And so what I had done was gotten 3 vetted letters that were notarized, that people bore witness to my birth or to my pregnancy, because I didn't have, why isn't this light going on? Because I didn't have medical, records for my pregnancy. I did obtain a proof of pregnancy very early on. Here, I want you to have these, but you have to come inside. Come on. We are never out this late, and of course it would be the day I'm trying to make a movie. A movie. Come on, honey, you want this candy or what? You need to come inside now. So I had 3 folks, well, I actually got like 5, I think, write letters that, oh shit, that they witnessed me being pregnant, and that, like, I had told them about my birth, and I actually didn't end up needing them, but some moms did when they tried to get their stuff. So I got them just in case. And I actually had tried to get the birth certificate one time before the time I finally did, but they said that I needed a live record of birth, which I had to get from a doctor. So I went to a holistic pediatrician to get that document, and that was when he was about 3 months. So it raised some eyebrows, but nothing that anybody followed up with, thankfully. And then, oh, look at that moon. So I had the 3 letters, I had the proof of live birth from the doctor, and here, if you want these, you need to come inside. You want these? Okay, come on, it's time to come in. You can bring those in. And then we had our appointment, like I said, at 6 months old. And come on, no, not you. Come on, guys, why are you being so difficult about this right now? Thank you. And I think I lucked the fuck out. I joked when I got it that the guy that gave it to me, the birth certificate, must have been a guy that usually does death certificates, because he was he did not raise any red flags to the fact that I only listed myself on there. He's like, oh, I accidentally mentioned at my appointment that my husband was at work, and he was like, oh, did you want to put him on here? And I was like, oh, no, thank you. And so he was like, okay. Very cool guy. Like I said, I think he was pretty much used to doing death certificates, because that was pretty unheard of, especially in Los Angeles. So I got his birth certificate the day before my birthday, and then we went home, and I held him and cried, and like, because it just meant so much, because I was leaving my marriage, and that was like the final thing I had to do to be good, you know, to like be able to move on with Niall. And so that is the story of the wild pregnancy, free birth, and obtaining the birth certificate. So full disclosure, well, actually I don't want to give you any full disclosure. Yeah, I don't owe you anything. So Niall is a very free baby, and it was an amazing experience. I will never experience pregnancy again. I hated it. It's not something I want to do. I'm one and done all day long. So I'm glad that was the experience that I did have. And for mamas to be who are watching, or folks that are interested in you know, an untraditional but also very primal, natural way it should be birthed. If you'd like any support or have questions, I am definitely here for you. The only thing I'm not here for is criticism. To each their own. You know, the way I did it isn't the way for everybody, and the way that other people birth is not the way for everybody either. I truly believe that that is a decision for mommy and baby to make. And I'm grateful that I had such an amazing experience. Hi, Nova. And of course, there are risks, but like I said, I was really, really educated on that. I spent my entire pregnancy listening to other women share their experiences. Some of them had, you know, complications or things arise during their births. You know, it wasn't all just rainbows and butterflies, every birth story. But I focused on really manifesting the exact birth that I dreamed of. So he was born in the bathtub. It was very cool. God, they're so tiny when they're born. Oh, they're so little. But yeah. So that's that story, and I really appreciate y'all listening and witnessing me. Like I said, I've never really shared it like this. Maybe in, you know, interpersonal spaces. But I also wanted to share that for the future of story time, we are going to be doing random selection. So I wrote down some good life experiences I've had. I committed to free birth on the last story time. So we did that one just now. Can you see that? Gosh, I'm so bad at videoing. So the next story we do, and from here on out, we will be doing randomly. And as I was writing experiences down, I'm like, wow, my life has gotten really boring. I'm like thinking about things that I can share. And most of it's from my early 20s or teens. So that's what we're going to do for next time. And I will see you all then.